Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Uncommon Rapport, episode 28, Food for Thought, the Poets Edition. We'll be with you in just a short moment. Listen to these tunes as we groove for the next phase of the motion.
I'm protecting my balance. Thought I would quit, niggas hate on the talents. Look at them, see how they face full of malice. Might die on the day I give mama that palace. They better respect it, I slept on the mattress. Sometimes on the pallet, but never complain. I just seen the vision, I had to go grab it. I had to get active, can't just go sit on my ass. Nope, been grinding so hard I might crash, but I can't do that, cause I am the last hope. 2018 was my last album, and niggas still live by my last quote. So that should tell you where I'm at, bro. I go to my city, the greatest they ever seen. From a place where some people don't never leave. Not by choice, it's just set up to keep you down. Small town, barely jobs that's hiring. Probably why so much young niggas firing. What's ironic is made for retirement. For a dreamer, man, that can be tiring. But still I'm gon' rep for the 3. Best gon' correct if you step into me. Do something you never believe. Like, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Ain't gonna play with you. Ain't gonna play with you. I was not made to lose. I was not made to lose. When they see you do it, they can't. They gon' throw hate at you. Look what you made me do. Suck with all this pressure. Look what you made me do. Suck with all this pressure. Look what you made me do. I feel all this pressure. Look what you made me do. They know I come with that pressure.
Fire, fire, oh, fire, fire.
A while ago, it was difficult for me to see how it go. Trying to find some inspiration seemed impossible. I couldn't move even though I had a lot of goals. In my soul. Fire burning inside made me move my feet. Stressing all in my mind, I was losing sleep. Telling me I'll be fine, wasn't cool to me. No. Getting my life in line, felt so new to me. Taking my whole to lay into, feeling my soul awaken you. Living inside a matrix because healing your mind is vacant. Do you ever feel like you outside your shell? Doing things you won't expect from your yourself. That's cause you leveled up, but you felt like it was random. That's the reason why you held yourself back in ransom. Chasing everything you desire. Don't let out your fire.
Lately I've been feeling my growth and my soul is on fire. I'm learning my worth as I get closer to my desire. I know you feel the heat whenever you come near me. Cause my soul is filled with fuel that never runs empty. Lately I've been feeling my growth and my soul is on fire. I'm learning my worth as I get closer to my desire. I know you feel the heat whenever you come near me. Cause my soul is filled with fuel that never runs empty.
Back in them days, I was using my pen less. Got up now awake, I was losing my interest. My soul was locked away when my engineer friend left. I was in a cage, emotional distress. Trying to invest with so many different audio engineers, but definitely did best. A big flex to him cause he helped me ignite my soul. He helped me to gain control of the flames burning inside me. Now they're trained to explode. Flames are lit, whoa. Don't touch me, you'll get burned and you'll instantly decompose. I've been digging for gold till I finally felt the life. Started writing music again, found some future, refill my drive. Sick of wasting my time, visuals in my mind, sending chills through my spine, reminding me of the time that I was so far behind in competition of rhyme, but now it feels so sublime, this fire is so divine.
Lately I've been feeling my growth and my soul is on fire. I'm learning my worth as I get closer to my desire. I know you feel the heat whenever you come near me. Cause my soul is filled with fuel that never runs empty. Lately I've been feeling my growth and my soul is on fire. I'm learning my worth as I get closer to my desire. I know you feel the heat whenever you come near me. Cause my soul is filled with fuel that never runs empty.
What's good? What's good? What's good, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy, Kevin Mullins, Mr. I Rep the Most High, with the Uncommon Rapport, episode 28, Food for Thought, the Poets Edition. So we're going to get into it. We got some established guests that is on the line tonight, and we're getting ready to get this thing crunk right. You feel me? I'm going to bring them on stage. I'm going to let you get a chance to experience who they are, what it is that they do in their local communities, and what they're about as a person in general. So first up, we're going to bring Queen Amina to the stage. Let's snap it and clap it up. What's happening, love? What's good? Let's unmute
Peace
that
and blessings. Peace and blessings, everybody. How are y'all doing?
That's right. We're doing good. We're doing good.
I am very, very excited to be here with y'all tonight. I hail from South Carolina, the PD region. I was born in Washington, D.C., grew up in Dillon, South Carolina, and I currently reside in Florence. So I got a lot of love for all things South Carolina.
Absolute. Next up, we have Miss Lala. Come to the stage.
Yo. What's good, everybody? Y'all doing all right?
The content creator. What's happening? How you doing, love?
Hello there, beautiful, handsome people. How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right?
We're doing good. Next up, we got Inspiration. What's good, my guy?
What's happening? Racine, Wisconsin, checking in. Poet, Rising Star of the Year, National Spoken Word Awards.
Absolute. You've here to hear first. But I'm a pause right here though, because I had the grand opportunity to meet him whenever I had a chance to travel to Chicago and then venture over to Wisconsin in Milwaukee, right?
Yes, sir.
I had a grand opportunity to meet him, and this is how this episode actually came about. Last week we had I think it was Mr. Obb, We had
Yeah, my guy.
yeah, Mr. Oz, that powerful spitter. We had Tony D, we had Amina and Angela. And I've actually got a chance to experience them live and in person. And then we did it virtual last week. But this is Mr. Our inspiration. What's good? Talk to the people, man. Let them know what's going on, man. Where you from? What you doing in your hometown?
Man, well, today was kind of a hectic day. I started school again after a couple decades. You get back and familiar with the computer. I'm really green with the computer and stuff, so got to get that going. But yeah, we just came off of a great open mic here in Racine. We had Chicago up here deep, about 3 cars deep, 5 different poets. At Pittsburgh in the house, Milwaukee was in the house. Then before that, went and received the Rising Star of the Year award down in Chicago.
Hey, post that one more time. Lift it up. Lift it up. Let it focus in so the people can see. That's right. That's right. Rising star. Inspiration.
Excuse me. I'm not sick. I got blood pressure medicine. I got a side effect to the medicine. So, um, but yeah, not too long ago, our poet organization, which stands for People of Extraordinary Talent, helped out with
Mhm.
finding a 7-year-old boy up in Milwaukee. There was a lot of stuff going on with it. If you look it up on YouTube, uh, it was a pretty crazy situation. Uh, they thought it was a ransom thing. They thought the mom had something to do with it because I mean it was like a episode of Power, uh, but nonetheless, we heard this boy cry for his daddy. We drove up there. We drove up to Milwaukee, which is about like 30 to 50 minutes away from where we're at. I called up my friends in the Brown Berets, which is an ally to the Black Panthers. I called up friends, that are in the core DJs. Was telling everyone use your platforms. Let's find this kid. Let's bring him home. And we did that. You know, uh, but we're doing a lot of
Congrats.
different things.
Congrats.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy situation, but we still brought a boy home. We still brought a young king home. So and the most powerful thing that came out of it was unity in the neighborhood. You know,
Mm.
uh, People really rallied together and came together to look for this young man and bring the kidnappers, to justice and what have you. So it was a beautiful moment for the city of Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin when it was really needed because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Okay.
So anytime you can make an impact on a positive level, that's always a bonus.
That's very grand of you, man. That's very grand. I'm gonna bring everybody else up on stage, because not only are you an activist in your own personal community, we're activists as well. So I'm gonna give Miss Amina the floor, and let's talk about some of the things that are being activated within the flow.
All right. So, of course, like I said, I'm a PD region residence. So, Florence, South Carolina is where I currently reside, but I would be remiss then. I honestly, it would just be a crime and a shame for me to not remember where I came from, which is Dillon, South Carolina. So, the PD region of South Carolina is not the richest region in the state. However, Florence is one of the fastest growing places in South Carolina. So we're hoping that eventually that will expand to some of the other areas like Dillon, Marion, which also is a high poverty area. I think I will say it is not the wealth of Marion, Dillon, some of these other rural areas, Atlanta. Scranton, little small towns like that, the richness, the wealth of those places are not being measured adequately. The wealth of those places is
Right.
our human, is the human capital, right? It's the human resource. So what I'm really excited about is being plugged in with the network of poets and artist activists here in the PD. We've been working together to create what is called not Florence, but Family Liberation Organization.
That's
We
right.
had it
That's
at a
right.
yeah, flow. So it's bigger than Florence, right? It's not just about what happens to be the hub. So we want to make sure that we're reaching out, doing a lot of grassroots efforts. But personally for me, outside of that network of artists, I have a very special mission of being able to take tough topics and make them sweet and easy to talk about. I facilitate a lot of conversations and workshops centered around increasing people's ability to have social emotional literacy, particularly with our youth. A lot of times I'm hearing language about the young people kind of bragging, talking about them crashing out, which is just basically a crazy way for us to say we have poor decision making skills, right? And we're
Yeah.
acting upon those poor decision making skills. So something that I'm working on is as I'm increasing my social emotional literacy skills, I'm wanting to get out here in the community, teach our young people so that they can have at least the skills. Now, whether they act upon it, that's differently, but I don't want them to be able to say, nobody taught me how to self regulate. So that's why I felt like I had to get it. I had to get it. I had to get out here, get it out the mud. I had to rob from somebody else or this, because none of those things is really true. Sometimes we'll make excuses for people and we'll say, well, they had to do what they had to do. But when we really think about it, sometimes if they thought differently about the options that was available and not just yielding according to their emotions, we can make better choices. So Piece of Cake Conversations is that initiative. I am the owner of Piece of Cake Enterprises. We have three main focuses: entertainment, education, and empowerment. So that's what I do. But I'm very happy to have worked with other people like Kevin Mullins, as well as Miss Lala, Giraffe X in Dillon, South Carolina, with her parenting initiative. I worked with PD Community Action Partnership, formerly was the manager of the homeless shelter, would work with South Carolina's Children's Trust, South Carolina Campaign to Prevent Teen Pregnancy, which is now Fact Forward, and a couple of other nonprofit organizations. Dillon County Boys and Girls, I spent a good bit of time with them, was able to help them in their inception. So yeah, I'm very excited about being able to continue grassroots efforts.
Look, we are all activists and artists out here in this nation. So let's snap it and clap it up for all of the great things that the people are doing. Miss Lala, bringing you to the stage. What's going on, love? How you doing?
Living life, living good, staying focused and healing. I bring all healing
Come
energy
on.
with
Come
me
on.
as I come and bring my presence and bring my energy. I also bring healing and loving energy with me. Over here in Dillon County,
Affirm
I
yourself.
am next year I'm going to launch a campaign through my nonprofit organization. My nonprofit organization is called Born Fearless Village. I created it back in 2022 when a few years after my dad passed away in honor of him. And I plan to launch a campaign. I built my team up, and so we plan to launch a campaign next year to raise funds for the nonprofit so that we can bring more community events to the area. Some things that we have on our agenda is a district or citywide spelling bee, a benefit concert, and a children's fashion show that we have planned for next year. Aside from that, my community efforts has not only just with my nonprofit organization, but I've worked with Meals on Wheels. I am a CNA. I do home health. I encourage women often, mothers often, young people often. And that's just mostly on a very personal level. Of course, I do things through my nonprofit organization, but because it's so one on one and personal based, I don't really push the nonprofit in that way because I don't want people to feel like, oh, well, you just trying to, like whatever for the organization. But no, like my heart and my passion is really to help people. So I have, allow people to come live with me if they were going through things, and I help them get on their feet. Because my thing is, if we build up the family, then we can build up the community. How do we build up the family? Well, that goes with mothers, with fathers, and with their children. So
Hmm.
I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to grow, expand, heal, and just push that healing energy throughout the world, because we don't need anything else. We need somebody to listen and be willing to give us those steps and those tools that we need to become better people.
Absolute, absolute, absolutely so. And I am Kevin Mullins. I guess I'll introduce myself. And we have an organization called Common Ground where we actually help artists develop into their craft, what it is that they want to be as an artist. That's why we have this platform called the Uncommon Report along with Common Ground. The Uncommon Report part is definitely the podcast where you kind of get a little bit intimate with individuals, so that you can know what they're about and what it is that they're doing. The Common Ground aspect is a visual platform, where a performance platform where people actually get a chance to go on stage and perform. So not only do we have poets, we have inspirational artists, we have rappers, hip hop artists, we have R&B artists. We've had some saxophonists on our platform. So this is what I bring to the stage. And I work with several different individuals, behind the scenes, doing some community work as well. We just had a barbershop peace talk with Mari Fox and Fred Goss of Marion, South Carolina. Amari is residing right now, I believe, out of Savannah, but he's already traveled through this PD region. He's already traveled several different locations, you know what I'm saying? So I partnered up with him and was able to kick off the peace talks for Marion County, which is my hometown, Swamp Fox Nation. You know what I'm saying? Big foxes. You feel me? Hey, hold on now. Not too much on them. Not too much. I know we lost terribly last week in the football season, but hey, it's all right though. You know what I'm saying? There's still time to make a change. But
And they
getting
sure enough
into
don't want
it,
to see Dillon County, but I'm gonna let that go.
oh
This is all
Lord.
about
Hold
family and
on,
unity and all of that good
T.O.,
stuff.
T.O. You know, we rivalries. I love it though. You know what I'm saying? I remember going to the game and seeing Marion getting ready to go to the lower state championship. No, actually the state championship. And they end up losing. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good though. Hey, we not gonna talk about that too much. We're gonna spotlight the highlights right now. So our next highlight is coming to the stage. She just left the stage, but Miss Lala, talk to him about this poetry though. Let's get into this poetry though.
Okay. Well,
Prepare.
then let's get
Yeah.
into it. Okay. Well, first, let me start off by saying I am Miss Lala now. As an artist, musically, poetically, I am Giraffe X. And Giraffe X means the god of fire and faith, or fiery faith. And so
Mm,
it's been a very long time since I've
a
recited,
zealot. Oh.
performed, anything like that. But the piece that I'm going to do for you guys tonight is called Stuck. I wrote it a few years back. I have never performed it, have never read it for anybody publicly. The only one who has ever heard this is Jerusalem. So you all get to
Mm.
get a special debut
Hey, let's
tonight.
snap up
Yay
the
for
exclusive.
you. All right.
Yeah. Let's get it.
All right, so here we go. It's called Stuck. And let me make sure that my laptop is going to work properly for me before I start doing things. All right. Here we go. Stuck. Riding my bicycle quickly down the hill, I feel the sun bathing my golden brown skin, enriched with new melanin. I feel the wind caressing my body, my legs, my neck, my back are covered with its cool breeze. I lift my arms as if I'm on the biggest coaster Carowinds has to muster. I'm gliding through the air. Then boom! A crack in the sidewalk distorted my play. I lie flat on my back. This crack came from nowhere. How come I didn't see it? How come I'm so weak? How do I get up from here? It hurts. My legs are bruised. My neck is crooked. My back aches like King James after a championship game. There is no shame as I lay there, unmoved, staring at the sky as the same wind that just caressed me burns the fresh wounds I have created. Somewhere between the crack of my back and the reflections of the mishap, this sun no longer bathes my golden bronze skin. I see the stars glaring down on the entity that is me. How did I get stuck here? Where did the time go? I'm so slow for getting up. Why must I waddle? Why must I let despair take me to another place? Then the others pass me. My legacy still waiting for me to get up. Peel myself off this sidewalk. Roll to the left. And I roll to the right. I roll back. I roll forth. Push myself up to my knees. That took so much. But I keep fighting to lift me up. On my knees, I reach and I reach and I reach to get the vehicle that carried me to this point, the bike, all broken and bruised, couldn't hold me up anymore. So I crawl, hands and knees, hands and knees, hands and knees. There's a tree in the distance. I need to make it to that tree. Resembling who I need to be, the roots will resonate with me. If only I could move my feet. So on my knees, I reach and I reach and I reach and I reach. I made it. I pressed my hands against the tree trunk. The roots reacted beneath me. The energy of the tree empowered me, and I rose up to my feet. Strong, balanced, no longer stuck. I look back at the bike that carried me to this point. I look back at the crack that brought me down. My knees burn, my eyes are watered, and I'm exhausted. But I'm no longer stuck. No longer held down by the fragile vehicles that carry me. No longer waddling in the pain that such vehicles cause me. My worth to the universe made me get up and stand strong like the tree. The tree, a reflection of me.
Let's snap it and clap it up. Hey, look, hold on, T.O. I think you dived off into something because on our last showcase, man, Mr. Ox says, um, if if when I die, bury me as a tree, in the sense, you know what I'm saying? Plant me as a seed to grow up like a tree in a sense, you know what I'm saying? But then he goes into saying like, nah, scratch that. He said he don't want to be the tree. He said plant me as the soil,
Dirt,
the
the
dirt. That's
earth,
right.
the
He was like,
earth.
because that's Earth's first foundation. Talk about that piece. What got you there? What got you to the place of being planted,
Okay,
Mm.
because, okay,
or AKA stuck?
okay. So, a few things, right? So on this healing journey, first of all, let me start off by saying that I am very intentional about my healing, right? And
Right.
when you're in a place of extreme darkness, sadness, what they call depression, it when your thoughts make you anxious, and certain things like that, and so when you go to therapy and you're going to mental health facilities and such like that, like they want to automatically pump you with so many type of medicines and everything like that, as opposed to let's dig inside and figure out what's really going on, right? As I'm studying healing and what does God say about who I am, and what does the Bible represent about being strong in your mind and being strong in your spirit and being strong in your soul. Well, there's this therapist who's also a preacher, and her name is Dr. Anita Phillips. And one night I was listening to her, and she was talking about, she even wrote a book about how the cells in your brain, in your body, resemble a tree trunk. They resemble plants. They resemble
Mm.
seedlings, right? And
Talk,
there's so
talk,
many
talk.
scriptures in the Bible that talk about you being as strong as a willow tree, or you being as
Uh-huh.
strong as a oak tree. Be planted by the water, but
The
but
rip,
like a
that's
tree,
right.
still stand
Uh-huh.
firm. So when I think about mental wellness and when I think about healing, I want to be like the tree, and not just any tree, but the tree that got those roots in the ground that have been there for hundreds of years. That it don't matter if you do chop it down at its trunk, that tree trunk it'll still be there, and then it can still grow a whole brand new tree because the roots of that tree it was firm.
Mhm. Talk to the people, my guy. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome to Common Ground, where we all grow up. You know what I'm saying? One mic at a time. Next up, we got Queen Amina in the house. That's right.
Hey,
That's right. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am doing good.
You
All
good?
right. Yes. So I'm gonna get into this one. I was feeling a little bit like I have anxiety at times.
Mhm.
Lord, okay. I'm gonna hold this thing.
Look, just be where you was, cause you was fine. You was fine, love.
Okay. I'm gonna hold this thing. Hold on, y'all.
Nah, if you got to use your phone that you're using to
No,
broadcast
I don't
it,
need it. I don't need it to read on my phone. I had the little tripod set up, but this thing started twerkulating.
uh, everybody like to twerk.
it's
Yeah.
okay. It's
Wanted
all
to
right.
That
twerk.
sounds like what I want to do right now. But
Look. So
We digress.
we digress.
To
Very
progress.
similarly,
You feel me?
yes, we digress to progress. You hear
Ah, that's a word. That's a little word. Go
bar, bar.
ahead.
me? So, like I said, with piece of cake conversations, how that was birthed is I've worked with young people since I was a young person. So I'm a little bit up in age now. And it tickles me because sometimes I go, like the last time I was speaking at the school, the kids did
Mhm.
not believe the age that I was. But I'm grateful for my age. I always like say my age, say my age, say my age, real proud, like because it's a blessing to have reached this age. When I was growing up, we was losing classmates left and right since I was little. Like when we were in Gordon Elementary School, we lost Prentice Mays, rest in peace to him. He had a severe asthma attack. We lost DJ Norton. I think he got in a car accident. Like I can call name after name of people. Like by the time we
Mm.
got to high school, I remember Brad Townsend committed suicide, and it was so crazy because people were trying to say that they didn't believe he committed suicide. He didn't seem like he could have been the person to have been battling depression enough. He seemed happy. He was always laughing. And I'm listening to what they're saying and saying, little do you know, there have been times that I've had suicidal ideations. Of course, I didn't have that language back then, but I was like, look, I don't want it to kill myself. I remember at times just not having a will to live and praying and saying silly stuff that I didn't know then. I didn't know at the time that it was silly for me to ask God to not allow me to live. But when you have different situations that you don't understand that they're not for your breaking, they're for your making, you can get weak and you get weary in well doing. Sometimes you look out in the world and it seems like there are other people who are making choices that are different than yours, and you know why you're doing what you're doing, and they don't seem to be as conscious as you, and they seem to be flourishing. And so it can get a little bit discouraging when you're a young person. And at the time I was Christian. I was I was a good old Christian girl. And I literally lived for being reverent of God. I really truly did. And so I found myself oftentimes like going through depression. But the thing that kept me was my love of words. I found poetry. It became an outlet for me. I was able to say whatever I wanted to say. And I love poetry and I love writing. I love creative writing because my mom was a reader. And she's also a poet too. And then I ended up finding out that my biological father is a poet as well. He wasn't a part of my life, and I dealt with a lot of unworthiness that I was not able to articulate in words at first enough to.
Come through lineage.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a couple generations deep in being a wordsmith. But the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So whether I really knew that or not, it was a thing. It became a thing. And so I remember I would write poetry. Sometimes the poems would be like on the front of my notebook, and sometimes my classmates would walk by when they're passing in the paper and they would see it and they would give me props. I wasn't necessarily a popular girl in school, but I was well known because first of all, my nickname is Cupcake. And it's hard not to know a girl named Cupcake. Like after a while, like it became a joke. Like, girl, your nickname what? And you got a sister named Muffin and a mama named Peaches. Like it became a whole thing. But long story short, I'm very grateful for poetry because it has been the thing that helped me to what I do now to manage my emotions. And even if I wasn't always going to do the things that I set out, like that I may have thought about doing, this was the thing that kept me off of the edge. And so, for all the other people out here who have gone through any type of mental health issues, crises, and if you haven't, I hate to say live a little longer, but that's life for real. So I pray your strength in the Lord. But I'm very, very grateful for being able to have learned some social emotional literacy skills and to be on a healing journey as well. So this piece, similarly to Miss Lala, my sister, I'm gonna do a piece that no one else has ever heard. This one is untitled, but it's about cleaning out your closet. Healing is about healing is about you making a choice to clean out your closet. It's about unpacking consciously, going through and making decisions about what's functional and fashionable enough for you to keep. It's about covering yourself accordingly. Some things are timeless. Some things are one size fit most average. Some things are custom creations just for you. Some things are vintage. Some things have been altered, tailored, once again, just for you. It only fits your skin. Some things are seasonal trends. Some things are sentimental. Some things are only ornamental. Some things just accents. Little razzle dazzle, belt, earrings. Some statements. But whatever you choose, be sure of its use. Intentional. Or it's just taking up space in your closet. Another article of ambiguity that will resemble resentment and indecision. A physical representation of your lack of commitment to alignment. Clean out your closet.
Let's snap it up. Clean out the closet, people.
Clean out your closet. And that's physical, that's metaphysical, that's spiritual, that's emotional. That's on so many different levels. Everything that you once had, you can't wear all the clothes. Sometimes we just be collecting things. And Erica Badu said it best, bag lady, you gonna hurt your back. So you
You
gotta
feel
pack
me?
light. You gotta pack light. You got to pack light. And I'm also very big into the slow fashion because as we know, like we live in a society where the way we get some of our clothing is at the expense and the exploitation of others. And sometimes we don't even
Right.
know what goes into us being able to put that S on. You feel me? So I just want people to think about that spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Clean out your closet.
Clean it out, guys. Clean it out. Next up, we got inspiration. Inspiration, to be exact. What's good, my
Hey,
guy? How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I'm feeling great. I'm alive. I'm doing better than I did yesterday, so I'm winning,
Yes,
baby.
sir. Talk that language, man, that you talked up in Wisconsin to us, man.
So
Whoosh.
whoosh, yeah. We set fire in this.
That's
Whoosh.
right. That's
Because
right.
that's the sound that fire makes. We all decided that, right?
Come
So,
on, man. Let's whoosh it
uh,
up.
you want me to spit something or got some
Yeah,
questions?
yeah. Let's get into that. That's where we at with it.
All right. All right. I've been going back and forth listening to our queens here and but I think I'm gonna go with this piece here. It's called If I Were a Poem. If I were a poem, you would have to understand heartbeats and the hiccups in my brain activity in order to hear and feel me. Because if I were a poem, I'd be an advocate for epilepsy. If I were a poem and you wanted to hear me, you would have to observe and listen through activity of wires and electrodes and understand how to work the machines that study the slides of organisms that come from me. If I were a poem, you would have the capability to read invisible ink and the scriptures that I wrote upon my soul and have the ability to see the stains upon my soul, the breakage upon my heart, the scabbing from the cutting of my body. If I were a poem, you would have to play it like Heinz and catch up. It's been 13 years of living these poems before I ever put one down to paper. Because if I were a poem, I would want to be heard. If I were a poem, I would be that of inspiration, motivation, determination. If I were a poem, I'd prefer to be around other poems like me, though not like me, because there'd only be one like me, though at the same time, I wouldn't be able to associate with every little poem around me because I just know some of them poems would disappoint me. So if I were a poem, I would have to step up and step over some of these poems. If I were a poem, I would stand tall. I would stand with my fists in the air. If I were a poem, I would chant white, brown, black, unite. White, brown, black, unite. If
Unite.
I were a poem, because if I were a poem, I'd question the norm of society. I'd question authority. If I were a poem, I'd give you food for thought amongst society because I'd be pinching my pennies because Quest would be helping me. My dollars would be spent amongst private chefs, restaurants, and vendors from blocks that would be surrounding me. If I were a poem, my thoughts would have to escape immediately. It had to be written down on any surface that was available to me, not just notebooks, though that of cardboard during night shifts, of palletizing at the end of an assembly line or an envelope because it was closer to me. If I were a poem and you heard me, you'd be that much closer to me. If I were a poem, I'd be that of my own sanity. If I were a poem, I'd be resurrected and reborn just to be a messenger to you. If I were a poem, I'd be a person of extraordinary talent. I'd be a wordsmith that speaks through verses and flows. I'd be a voice behind the pen. I'd be worthy of unmuted mics and ink if I were a poem. My poetry would wow you. It would speak in wows if I were a poem. Everything I would do would be for the culture if I were a poem. My roots would be strong as grassroots and trees. Upon my open mic status, it would shake the leaves. Though if I were a poem, I would never leave. My words would bless the air where it's fair like leaves blowing around. South Carolina, you hear? Did you hear the rustle? Did you hear the hustle? Because if I were a poem, you would definitely hear me. You would feel me. You might even start to understand me if I were a poem.
Oh my gosh. Whoosh.
Whoosh.
There we go. Let's whoosh it up. Hey, Miss Queen, you got something to say about that? Unmute yourself.
Look, whole time the title first just got me. I'm like, oh my god, if I were a poem. And then I'm like, and you are poetry in motion. And I'm just like, so I do understand you. Yes, yes. Like that was so beautifully written, the cadence, the imagery in it. I
So
love it. I
Queen,
love it.
so
And
Queen,
shout out to you for adding that little ad lib of South Carolina. We love
yeah,
that. We love that.
Yeah. We love it.
I'm gonna say something real quick. I'm gonna interject. 1,000 pardons, but South Carolina, this was a challenge. I was challenged by a fellow poet in Chicago by the name of Michael Double G that to use the prompt if I were a poem. So that's where it came from.
Wow.
It came from that prompt. So I'm challenging my South Carolina queens on here,
Okay.
and
Okay.
anybody else in the SC, you're getting an official challenge from iInspiration to use that prompt. Go ahead, put it to social media after you're done with it. Make a video and tag me in it. iInspiration on Facebook or Instagram. in.spiration 1899 and then you challenge the next group of poets.
Look.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Challenge accepted.
Look,
Challenge accepted.
challenge accepted. For real,
Yeah.
for real. Even though
And
you got
Yeah,
queens
I already
and
know
they're
I
king
got a
up on
couple of
here.
people. I'm like, I know they will run Saint Sin. I can
hell
just
yeah,
hear her like
yeah,
delivering the most prolific if I was a poem. So like I'm
yeah,
gonna do my thing, but then that my
Listen.
sister queen gonna come up after me and I'm pretty sure she gonna surpass me. So I'm ready. Challenge accepted.
Hey,
Challenge,
yeah.
look,
yeah.
I
Thank you
think
so
we're gonna have
much.
to have an episode part 3 on this. Because I got a few people in the bag, man. You know what I'm saying? Not to drop names, but Ty Davis and Miss
Yes,
Tanya.
for
You
real.
know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
and I,
Like,
and I,
yeah.
and I'll remind people right here tonight that I challenged Elemental from the New Eurekan Poets Cafe and the North Carolina Slam team, as well as
Okay.
Charles Perry, aka CP Mays, to do this challenge.
Mhm.
So, and
I
I'm
love
looking to
it.
Look,
come.
if
I'm
I
looking to
am
come
a
to the South
poem
this winter. I'm looking to come to the South this winter. So I need some
and set
allies
it
down
up.
in the South to bless me with some gigs and some open mics. And I'm gonna work on some chat books and stuff like that. That's part of the reason I'm taking this computer class so I can get savvy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Definitely come
at
to the
least you're
South.
doing what you're supposed.
And,
Go
and
ahead,
one
Queen.
more thing, I do have an open mic and I do pay features from out of town. I do have camping grounds available as well. If it's just a couple people, in-house overnight stays available. And definitely can contact me on that. But I definitely pay my features when they come from out of town and make sure that you're comfortable. And then we do a whole backyard poetry type thing. I got 5 acres of property up here.
Nice.
So
Absolute. Hey,
Nice.
y'all need to travel to the camp. I
Yeah.
inspiration.
It's dope.
You see
definitely.
what I'm saying? We got people who are moving and navigating and doing what it
Y'all
is
mind,
that they're supposed to do in this community. We gonna
boss man?
see.
You mind if I take
Go
a
ahead.
quick bathroom break?
Go ahead. Do your thing, man. We'll just kick it like this.
Yes, sir.
Um Queen Amina, I know you
I'm
up on
old. I'm getting
stage,
old.
but I'm trying to bring. There we go. There we go. There we go. Solo layout. There we go. I'm still learning, guys. You know what I'm saying? This is
Same.
something that is dear to the heart. And I don't know, it just feels like somebody else is controlling the controls right now. But as you can see, our people have much to offer.
Mhm.
They're not just one-sided where they are in one vein, then multifaceted lanes in order to perpetuate the movement of what it is that you have going on, whether it's in your regional town, whether it's in your local town, whether it's statewide. I like I said, I had a chance to go out and venture out outside of our South Carolina parallel. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I brought them to the stage. That's why I brought them to the stage. Queen Amina, you got a hot topic real quick?
Oh man, look,
Unmute yourself. Yeah, there you go.
there it's so many different things that we could be talking about. My question is always related to what level we want to be on, because it's a bunch of
Mm,
stuff. I saw earlier a video of a young lady who apparently was like a music minister or on a music ministry of a church, and she got publicly
mhm.
rebuked. That was a little triggering for
Wow.
me. um
Okay.
I was
So let
like,
me ask you this question. Why did it trigger you? Because we haven't seen the video. So
yeah, so
what
if you haven't
from
seen the
from your
video,
perspective, from your
yeah, if you haven't
perspective.
seen the video, I'll give an objective point of it. So
Hmm.
apparently the first lady gets up and she's making it known that the young lady, I think her name was like Michaela, I can't remember her name. I don't even want to lie through giving out misinformation. But the young lady had not greeted her in a way that she felt was acceptable. So she starts quoting scripture and talking about how in the body of Christ, we're not going to have ill feelings towards each other. And she's doing this during the church service. He goes on to say, like, you have to sometimes publicly reprimand a person, like
Hmm.
outright rebuke. And I'm just looking in there, I'm saying, ouch. I think it was
So
triggering for me.
what part triggered? Yeah, that's the part that I want to get
Yeah,
into.
so what was
What
triggering for
part
me
triggered you?
is just knowing that, yes, correction has to be done sometimes in public, but the way that it's handled, um
Ah,
it the message is the message, and I feel like truth is truth. There's no substitute for the truth, right? There's no way to quite sugarcoat it if you want, but at the end of the day, once that sugar is gone, it's the truth. So I don't have a problem with people being corrected, but the way that we correct people, and it could be just my inner child just knowing, like, we be scorning people. If you want to correct somebody, you need to have connections with somebody. You hear me? Like, the best
right.
way to correct the person is when you're connected to that person. And when you're connected to that person, you don't necessarily feel like you have to leverage blame and shame to get them to come into alignment with what is real or what is truth and what is the best.
Outcome.
I just, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, 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 no. I was just going along with you.
Yes. So that was triggering for me as a person who worked with young people, and as a person who I've been in the church. I've
Hmm.
seen people who have experienced church hurt, and I wish that people would stop using their religion as a way to condemn others or to correct others without connecting with others and making sure that the person is connected with the understanding that you're trying to hold them to. You
Mm.
understand? Because sometimes we're wanting
What
people to
I
live up,
need
live up
from
to
you is
standards.
understanding.
Yes, yes. Do they understand? Are they
Right,
connected
right,
to
right.
the understanding that you're trying to force upon them? That's it. That's all.
Yeah, I feel you on
With
that
the
though.
lack of, you had something to say, our inspiration?
No, I was just saying, I feel my queen on that one. For real. Yeah, it's just, you know, how you going to correct somebody? They don't understand what the heck you correcting them with.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like, they have to be on a same level,
Vibration.
at
Yeah.
least close to it, in order to
Hmm.
understand, the correction. You know what I mean? So, yeah, sometimes you have to, in order to correct somebody, you may be at this level where they're down here. You might have to come down a little bit just to reach down, and smack them a little bit in the back of the head to make them, come up and
Think.
understand
Hmm.
where they're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And
Right,
I
right.
feel that's where my queen was coming from.
And me personally, I was always taught this is from the grassroots. Like, it ain't about what you do, it's how you do it.
Definitely how you do it. And I think
It's
as a
more
leader,
important.
yeah, go
Say
ahead.
it again.
No, I'm
But
saying as a
it's
leader, you should know how to do it.
That
maybe
part.
they've been led to lead the wrong way.
That part. That part, brother. They've been led
What
to
happens
lead the
when you've
wrong
been
way.
led to lead the wrong way?
And that's
And
what
I
that's what we got. That's what we got to look forward with this whole
said
mega bullshit stuff that's going on.
stuff.
You know,
Yeah.
that, that
Look,
that's a whole
if you've
nother.
been if you've been led to lead the wrong way, because I mean my totality perspective just kicked in, right? Let's say, for instance, right, certain time periods are acclimated for that type of leadership. But what happens is when that time period has exhausted and there is needed a nuance, who's going to be in charge?
Right.
Who is that individual that's going to be able to say, hey, look, I got a new vision. You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to the old vision, because the foundation is what has brought us to this place. No disrespect to that at all. But I think the way we're moving needs to be adjusted. You see what I'm saying? It's
Well, it
like
needs to be well adjusted.
right, because the leadership that came prior past up to is now exhausted. But now that that point is exhausted, who is in the position, the right position, because they have new vision? I think new vision plays a great deal into how new leadership leads, because they're going to come with the mindset of, I realized on the back end, they had a whole time to watch this manifest before their eyes. They had a time period to discover, you know what, Pops or Mama or Nima, whatever you want to call them, have done this for so many years. And it worked up until this point. And at this point right here, I saw a change within the family, the business, the organization. You know what I'm saying? They see that switch. They don't have the voice yet to pronounce it. They don't have the voice yet to pronounce it because they're not acclimated enough by the rank of the prior, right? So then, therefore, once they do get the rank to voice their opinion, it seems as if they want to overthrow everything that was prior past, and that's not the case, because once you realize that foundation is concrete and then it's solid, your job is only to build off of what is established. And I think this is just me in perspective mode. Once that voice, excuse me, once that voice is being pronounced, it's not looking as if the old is still in existence, which it is, because you got to realize this is what rooted and grounded this individual into becoming who they are. Not that they're negating it. There's certain things that we do need to negate. Don't get it twisted, but they're not uprooting the foundation to rebuild the foundation. They're trying to build on a foundation that was already to it certain. It's like a pyramid almost, in a sense. It's like the foundation is set, it's concrete, boom, we're gonna build off this. All right. This generation is gonna build on this tier. The next generation is gonna build on this tier. The foundation has not yet to crumble or stumble. The next generation is, and it just keeps going up until we get to the point where all of the generations can come into perspective and say, you know what? Little Johnny that's here up at the top, this is just me, casting out vision. Little John, what he did was good. And they brought it back down and they promote him. They acclimate to what little Johnny or little, you know what I'm saying? Whoever that is, brought that vision all the way in total perspective, because with vision, the foundation is already set, but they can only see so much. And that's why they have the generations to come after them to stand on their shoulders to be able to forecast further than what they was able to do. So when the bottom reaches, say that again, brother.
No, I was just about to say, I feel like this generation right here, this time period in which we're in, is like we're really going. Those of us that are like conscious of all this stuff, like yourself,
right?
We're going back to the '60s and '70s. As far as like bringing back the spirit of the revolution, bringing the revolution back. You're seeing the reassurance of the civil rights movement, through the Black Panther Cubs, with Fred Hampton Jr. as the chairman, Golden Child with the Unity movement. You got 19 Keys, the Wall Street Trapper. A lot of the a lot of this stuff's coming back.
500, David Shands.
With that inspiration, with that inspiration and that motivation, to bring this back, or at least bring it forward, because if you go back, then you're just really doing what Trump is talking about, make America great again, when it really wasn't all that great.
One time. Going back is not a bad thing. Sometimes you might have to
in some situations, right?
In certain situations, you have to revisit the blueprint to bring in that balance. Like you said,
exactly.
You got to bring in that balance, because now let's talk about a more balance right now. Kids today doesn't have the morale that we have as our age. I'm 39, getting ready to turn 40. You're 40, what?
7, going up 48.
47. Queen, what's your age?
I'm 36.
So you're 36. You're the youngest in the count, but you're 3 years younger than me. You see what I'm saying? So we've all been in a certain, from, let's say, a 20-year span, from 47 to 37.
That's
27. 10. Right. So 27, right? Those people, I've talked to individuals that's right there getting ready to bring that 30 age, and they understand what I'm talking about as the elder looking towards them. But I also understand what they're, excuse me for the mess up, but I also understand what they're shooting to me as well. So it's like we're right there in that medium as millennials.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're
the bridge.
We're
the bridge.
And I think the biggest challenge, at least coming from insight, from my age group, and obviously, just through this conversation that we've been having tonight, you should be able to tell that I talk to a wide spectrum of people. I talked to a Black Panther liberation female activist, Mary Hooks, I believe was her name, and she's a lesbian, right? And I seen a book that she had. We were sitting at a bar, and I noticed the Black Panther, uh, part of it. And I'm talking to her in reference to different civil things, and uh, not knowing that that she was a lesbian, and I was talking about um, you know some personal views and stuff. Like I myself, and I'm putting this out there in the air where it's fair. When you believe something, you believe something. You're raised a certain way. You're raised a certain way. I am open to being educated, and taking views in and stuff of that nature. Uh, but I won't lie, I'm kind of hard headed. Uh, I don't, when it comes to homosexuality, gay, man on man, woman with woman, that stuff doesn't bother me. It's the uh, when you start talking about the trans sexual type of stuff, uh, being a God fearing man, I was raised, that you trust God and what He put forth, in your life and this and that. And then I was baptized Catholic on top of everything. But I was kind of betrayed by the Catholic religion, and the next poem that I was going to do tonight, it's called "I'm Your Ally Too."
And water on you?
Huh?
They sprinkled the water on you. They
Yeah,
helped you with
right,
their
right,
hands.
right, right,
That
right,
really ain't baptism, though. You know what I'm saying?
right,
From
right.
our
And
sector, that's not.
that's where like the when you hear the opening line to the next piece, you'll be like, "Whoa, that's powerful." But it definitely explains a lot to me. Uh, but what I'm getting at is that at one point you didn't have a common ground with catechism, and Islam and Muslim teachings,
Mm-hmm. Right.
Republican and Democratic views. Now my mom is a hardcore Democrat. She was actually invited to run for local office here in Wisconsin when I was younger. But she straight out told me, it's like, Craig, you know why I won't run, for mayor, or governor, whatever it was. It was like, because when you deal with politics, they bring up a lot of dirt. They dig up a lot of personal dirt, and I'm not ready to go through what you and Brian had already put me through. I'm not ready to relive that again. So I was like, oh, well, thanks for letting me know that I stopped your, political dreams, but, nowadays, you know, uh, like my mom will even, my dad's a hardcore Republican. My parents are separated,
Two
obviously,
ends of the
but,
spectrum. Yeah.
you know, so I grew up very anarchist, very militant, very independent, very punkish, so I mean, like, I was the black sheep of the family.
You
And
was rebellion. You was rebellion.
yeah,
You was cast as
yeah,
rebellion. Yeah.
yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
definitely. And my mom would be
And I
like,
think that's what our new age is doing today, though. They're rebelling on certain things
right,
that the older generation has either said, taught, or established as this is the foundation. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I think the younger generation needs to take heed to certain principles of the foundation in order for them to perpetuate and grow. Now, have they found their own means to grow and flourish? Yes, they have. Because even with what we're doing right now, there's people who are making X amount of funds, you know what I'm saying, doing exactly what
you,
we're doing now because they have an audience. They
Yeah.
learned a certain skill set, but those
and
skill
that's
sets
the thing
had
that,
to be taught. Go ahead.
right,
Those skill sets had to be taught based on the foundation. You can't
Yeah.
negate the foundation. You have to build from it. And
right,
anytime that you negate the foundation, now if the foundation is is crooked and unstable, I would say totally negate it. Totally.
Yeah.
Because you now realize you've come into self where you realize, like, hey, this foundation is not foundation. Like, if your life is not based on love versus striving, or um how can I put it, love versus survival, right?
Mhm.
Right.
There's a person who's been nurtured and loved through a situation where another person had to figure out how to navigate through this situation. If
Mm.
you've been based in love and caring for throughout the existence of your life, it's hard for the survivor person to see the love aspect because all they know is, oh, either it's fast motion, or they got to always, you know what I'm saying, play tit for
Right.
tat, or there's no concrete, like, look, I love you. But with
You
them,
know,
it's like, okay, you say you love me, but with
What do you
with,
do
with
for
that
me?
love that you say, what do you mean by that? And also,
right.
say that again, Queen.
I said, what do you do for me? People that
What do
that
you
operate in
do?
survival mode, they're
Talk.
oftentimes like their aspect of love is very transactional. They don't
Right.
they don't look at people and see love from an essence of just being able to actually appreciate the attributes, the qualities, the characteristics of another being. They look at people as opportunities because for
Right.
them, love is self-preservation. They don't
Mm-hmm.
understand
Mm.
interdependence. They don't understand community. They don't understand
Mm.
us coming together and being able to have a symbiotic relationship where we're both thriving off of each other. They understand I have to get you before you get me. If you're there for me, then I'm rocking with you being there for me. But the moment where you're not able to be there for me, I gotta go find who else can be there for me because I'm trying to survive. So like people who live in
Mm-hmm.
survival, they do not understand the real building blocks of society. So this is why they will, like I said, they will do whatever they can to self-preserve at the expense of others, which overall comes back to hurting them. But they don't see how in the long run it
Oh, she froze up.
She, I think she was getting ready to. Well, I really can't pronounce it, but I understand her travel though. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right. I got something that I
They
wanted
can't.
to add in, with this right here, especially with
Okay.
talking about uh the younger generation, and even within my ex fiance was 12 years younger than I am, and the people like at Food for Thought that you've seen, that crowd is, they're
Mm-hmm.
young 20s, mid 20s, on up. A lot of powerful poets in their young 20s and early 30s, so still, within that age bracket difference than I was used to on an intimate level. So when I say intimate level, dealing with my woman, at the time, on that level, I came across something that demons that she exposed when she tried to hold me. She tried to
Mm.
spoon me, and I almost backhanded her. She was spooning me from behind, and I was like, out of reaction, I was like, what the hell
So
you're
were you
doing it.
not accustomed to affection, or
Right. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm
okay,
getting at.
okay, okay.
She was like, I was just trying to hold you. And I was like, no, 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 no. Ain't no woman hold no man like that. Ain't no woman holding a man holds a woman like that. You don't hold no man like that. And she was like, she paused for a minute, and like she was thinking, like she was dumbfounded. Now, mind you, she's to my back, and I feel this pause, of silence after I just said that. And she says, kind of discombobulated, like, so are you trying to tell me, babe, that you ain't never been held before? I'm like, and then I pause and I'm like, in my head, I'm going through all my relationships, before her. And I'm like, analyzing stuff. And I'm like, I, I guess not, but, and she held me tighter. That was the gangster part about it. She held me tighter. She was like, come here, and held me tighter. Now, I say that to say this about the previous comment about the younger generation and age group that was at the open mics. I was at an open mic in downtown Milwaukee, and I had written a piece right there in the venue. It was the day before I was going to court for my daughter's. This is hard to speak on still, even though it's been a few years. Her mom's ex-boyfriend, who she actually cheated on me with, and ended up living with. Then this person ended up taking videos and pictures of our daughter when she was 12 to 13 years old, getting in and out of the bathtub through a keyhole through the door. Her mom found that she had that gut instinct that mothers have. Something wasn't right. She checked this man's phone, if you can call him that, and found all these videos and pictures of our daughter getting in and out the bathtub. And she called the police, came right at the house, everything. But I had to go to court the next day. I wrote this piece at the venue, performed it the same night. I cried on stage. All the men in attendance came up to me, hugged me, tight, embraced me, like bear hug tight, in my ear, love you, brother. Love you. I've never grown up, even in my own family, we weren't a real lovey-dovey, wordy type of family. Like we just did. We did what we were told. We did what we were told. My family is very militant. As far as my dad being a Marine, my stepfather was Navy. They're both Vietnam veterans. My mom was in the trucking industry, for 50 years through the women's rights movement. I seen her get manhandled and disrespected verbally and physically, So I come from a very, thick-skinned.
Let's go into that piece. Let's go into that piece, man. Talk about it.
All right. Where are people at? Where are
don't worry about the people they hear. You know what I'm saying? Let's go into the piece. You
all
on
right.
stage.
It's called I'm Your Ally Too. I was baptized Catholic, though I trust and believe in Muslims more. You think that's easy for me to speak on? I'm German and Norwegian. I mean, I guess I could look more into the history of Vikings and blacksmiths. I mean, my mom's dad was a blacksmith. I never got to meet him. So yeah, my dad is on the German side, and he's a good man. I guess I could get to know more good Germans, like my contemporary, Ike Waltz. He's an awesome poet. He lives in California, though originally from Germany. He stands tall against racism and ignorance. He's a good man. And ever since the age of 9, I tested time. I oppose authority and I question the norm of society, like being white and not putting raisins in my potato salad. My South Carolina, yes, I do season my food with more than just salt and pepper and paprika too. So that means I also question the normal society and its stereotypes too. Like police looking for a reason to pull someone over just because they're driving while black or brown. I question authority too. I will not be silent in this struggle. On my mouth, there will be no muzzle. Call me John Lewis, because, hey, I'm looking for some good trouble. Like John Sinclair, David Sanchez, I'm an ally. The Fred Hampton Jr., Golden Child, Young Will too. I'm here. I'm your ally. White Beret, Brown Beret, Black Panther, Cubs, screaming unity in the will to keep an eye of the trenches watching over society, because we constantly have to question the norm of our society and question the majority of our authority. It's we, the people in this room. It's us who gather together outside of this room to unite, fight the good fight. It's you who's hearing and listening to this message tonight. So the question tonight is, who's going to continue the fight of Huey P. Newton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Frederick Douglass? Who's going to fight for our rights? And not just the party, to our civil rights too. Yeah, I'm a beastly type of boy. Though in the public majority, I'm an enemy too. They're afraid. South Carolina, they're afraid. America, they're afraid. They're afraid of the people that I'm reaching, the game that I'm teaching. Black Ice, Orion Meadows, DeAndre Mayfield, let's reach. Let's teach our youth together. Let's help our brothers, our sisters from other mothers and fathers of time to reacclimate to this society when they make it home after doing their time. Together, let's continue to fight for our political prisoners. Up and down, free them all. Assalamu alaikum. Fred Hampton Jr., Justin Blake, Golden Child, and I Inspiration, will continue to raise our fists in the fight for unity. Ladies, who's going to continue to fight? Who's going to continue the mission and raise awareness of domestic violence and develop strategies for intervention like Ellen Pennant and Diana Stewart, Nina Purple Rain, Darlene Nikki, Treva Gary, April Harris, Dasha Abrams? I'm not just your contemporary, I'm your ally too. Gat Turner, Ajwan Butler, Kwabena Nixon, Ken Kamazi, James Skolowatsky, Scott Terry, Nick Ramsey, Nico Moore, Keontae Larry, and more. When it comes to these fights here in Milwaukee, Racine and Kenosha, to Chicago, and more, I'm not just your contemporary. I'm your ally too, and I'll always stand for motivation, determination, and inspiration. I am inspiration.
Inspiration. Let's snap it and clap it up for our dear brother, all the way from Wisconsin. We got a few comments. I got one brother, Mr. Jinx. He said, be on the side of right. Being wrong makes it much harder.
Repeat that. Repeat that.
He said, hey, Jinx, my brother said, repeat it. So that's what I'm going to do. Be on the side of right. Being wrong makes it much harder.
Yes.
That's right.
That's why I wanted to repeat it, because that was deep. I wanted to
very
repeat
much
it.
so. We got Soul Child, Sugarton. I don't know where she's from. Maybe she'll drop that in the comments. But she said, great show. Much truth being discussed. Continue to move forward with this platform. Peace and grace. She also said, come on, poet. So while you were spitting, hey, already. Hey, tell him what that means. Tell him what that means, brother.
People of extraordinary talent. You can check it
That's
out.
right.
IamPoet.org.
IamPoet.org. We got my brother Rosé. He say, yo. That's right. PD South Carolina. We got Asar Kim Amun,
Okay.
True Blood and Guts Warrior.
Thank
You
you.
know Asar? You know Asar?
No, but
Okay, already.
I'm here. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, look, guys, you got a chance to dive off into these poets tonight. We were supposed to have another round of poetry. My brother Inspiration definitely gave us that second round. Um, I think I'll do a slight piece.
Yeah, let's
Talking
hear that. Let's
from
hear that.
yeah. Let's. I'm
Because
gonna
because
freestyle it
because you
go
remember
ahead talk.
that's how this all came about. Was freestyling outside in the street, in the middle of the street in Walker's
Right.
Point, Milwaukee. We was in the
Talk.
middle of the street. I
Talk.
mean, it was a side street. It was a side street. You know,
Hey,
it's not
look,
like
if I
we're
could upload the photos and everything right now, I would. And maybe, you know what I'm saying, there's some things I gotta do. But hey, I remember
that,
that night though. You know
that
what I'm
was a hell
saying?
of a
That was just
that was a heck of a cipher. That was a heck of a cipher.
look, you
That
said it
was a
right.
heck
It
of
was a hell of a night.
uh,
It was a good night though. It was a good
yeah,
night, my brother.
yeah,
We
most
all
definitely.
connected. We shared each other's information.
And
We
that
got a chance to know one another in that time space that we had with one another.
and most importantly, you know, that night and tonight we're connected. But now it's what we do from this night together, you know, as a unit, you know, and all these topics in which we're talking about, we're moving forward and helping each other, you know, and helping our cities out together and uniting and making this a bridge, you know, that we travel upon frequently to continue, you know, this fight, you know, and to continue you know, this movement, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the power. That's the power of this generation, and that is, you know, the part of the reason why I'm back in school after like almost 3 decades, you know, working with computers and shit, you know, and stuff, uh, you know, so I can further, you know, my reach, because I have reach upon outside of the country as well as inside of the country, you know, and this is the stuff that this is how we need to utilize this platform.
Right. Right. Right.
When we brought that 7-year-old child home, it was because of platforms. We
Mm-hmm.
all ha-
Mm-hmm.
we all have platforms. 98% of us have platforms because we belong to Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or something of that sort. But some of us, like yourself, myself, you know, we have bigger platforms because we have bigger followings, you know, and you know, we direct and target promote our social media contacts, you know, to be specific, you know, in areas that we're working on improving, community improvement, you know. So when it's time for a kid to get found or for a bill to get passed, you know, stuff of that nature, that's when we use these platforms to really reach and teach. Because if you reach one, you teach one. That's always the method. That's always the same,
Absolute.
you know,
Absolute, my brother.
in the format.
Absolute. Absolutely so. And see,
I didn't
this
mean to
is
take it over. Go
wisdom.
ahead, spit your
No, no,
piece,
no,
poet.
no. This is that wisdom that's coming from the elders, though, passing
I'm
it
still not used to
down.
being called an elder.
Look, hey, as young as we may feel,
Right?
we
I
have to
swear.
understand. We have to understand who we are and where we are within this time space continuum. You know what I'm saying?
I
We're
just and
elders.
I just ended up last night. I was out After the Packer Lion game, I went to an old bar where we had the open mic at for the first year plus
Okay.
for Wordsmith Wednesdays, and there was a rap showcase going on, and I
Let's
got to
talk about
talking
the
to
Wordsmith Wednesdays though. When
okay,
do you host it? When do you host it?
every first and third Wednesday of the month. So um, originally how it started as a podcast off Poet Radio, which is off of talkshoe.com. And I asked my president of the poet organization, Black Ice, out there in Chicago, I was saying, in this day and age, can we like do this live in a venue? You know what I mean? Like, and he was like, yeah, you can. You know, it was like we done it as a pop up. He was like, I don't know of any places in the Midwest that are doing it on a consistent basis. He was like, and I say that to say this to you, inspiration is that um, you're not going to have any models to follow as far as learning curves go. So you're going to be learning on the go. Not saying that you ain't able to do it. You know, I back you. You know, whatever you want to do, and but that's the journey you're going to be taking. You know, it's going to be a rough road because there's no map to it. And I'm like, all right, well, heck with it. You know, let's do it. And
Well, you know, being a trailblazer is always gonna set the pace for what comes after.
that's part of the reason we got nominated within 4 months of doing the
Mhm.
show. We didn't even have technical difficulties taken care of at that point in 23 to 24. Um, but it was the fact that we were doing a hybrid, so like say this show, it would be able to be heard in the venue, and then you would be able to converse with myself that was live in the building, and I could have a conversation back and forth with you as well as you could with other poets. But the tricky part was we had a DJ, we had vendors, there was food, so you had all these sound barriers going on. You had all these different things. You had to make sure everybody was muted. It's complicated. It's kind of complicated. And then when you're mixing in your laptop, with party
Right,
boxes or DJ equipment, all depends, different plugins, things don't always go right. So it's a whole process. It's it's great in theory, and it's
right.
awesome when it's going right and it's recorded. And we had a lot of great shows. We had a lot of great shows, and I'm really working on bringing that back. But now, first brought back the podcast, so that's every first and third Wednesday of the month. So the
Right.
next one is on the 17th.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Nah,
And then
Wednesday, which is the 11th, right?
no, it's first and third Wednesday of the month.
First and third Wednesday. Okay, okay.
Right, right. So first and third Wednesday of the month. So we brought the podcast, back, the radio show, we brought that back first. And then I kept getting hit up by people. I'm a simple individual. You tell me something, three different people tell me something around the same time, it's like a message to me, so
Uh-huh.
I
Yep.
got told by
Confirmation.
three different people in three different cities and states, hey, you still doing the Wordsmith Wednesday show? I'd like to get up there, man. I've been meaning to get up there. You still got that going on? You know, and I was like, you know what? I gotta get out this lazy boy state of mind and get something going back before the National Spoken Word Awards. So we have a place
Build the
to
momentum. Yeah.
promote. To promote the nominees.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of nominees from Wisconsin this year, and but outside of just the state, you know, I have friends from all around the country and the world, that have been nominated, for this show, so it's like being a nominee myself. I was nominated for Storyteller of the Year, as well as Rising Star of the Year. Wordsmith Wednesdays was up for Best Radio Show, as well as Best Live Open Mic. Then I had two members from my chapter. James Hamilton, he was up for Best Male Poet of the Year, Best Entertainer of the Year. And then Treva Gray, she was nominated for Best Mentorship of the Year. So I was a proud papa, man. As a president of a chapter, I was very proud, especially only being 2 years in. I mean, I have, way more experience than 2 years. It's just 2 years ago is when I really started taking this poetry thing really serious. Before that, it was all therapy. It was a hobby. It was my way to, shake demons off. Even though I wrote myself out of 2 overdoses, in that time period from when I was 13, into my 30s or 20s, because I took a good 10-year hiatus when my daughter was born. My daughter was born in 2009. I was still going into the poetry scene, probably 2010, 2000, about halfway through 2010. And then I had to take a break because I was doing 20-hour days. I had started a business doing lawn care and landscaping. I was doing janitorial services. I had just got married. I was a new husband. I was a father. But I put about 2.5, 3 years of 20-hour days in and missed out on a lot of my daughter's first experiences just to be a provider, just to be a provider for her. You know what I mean? So when people talk about sacrifice for being a business owner of anything, like, don't talk to me about sacrifice. I didn't sacrifice my daughter's first 2.5, 3 years. I didn't see my daughter fall until she was 3.
And you realize though that there are certain people, you know what I'm saying, that is a great sacrifice. Anytime away from your family, your children, your wife, your significant other, that you acclimate to do something else outside of not necessarily even entertaining them, but being with them in a valuable moment is a sacrifice. So I think the biggest thing that we could take away from that is learn the balance of sacrificing.
Right. And that's the hard part.
Right, because our passion gonna always be on the phone. It's gonna always call for you. Hey, you're chosen for this. Not only did I call you, but now I'm telling you you're chosen for this. What you gonna do? You're gonna pick up, or you're gonna swipe left. If you if you swipe, you canceling out on your passion, and then you have full capability of dealing with the child, the mother of the child, the wife, the girlfriend, the significant other, if you swipe left. But this passion that I got inside of me.
And that's what I had to put on hold. And that's what I had to put my passion on hold for responsibility, because
so you sacrificed your passion. Right.
I sacrificed my passion. The night that my daughter was born, my daughter was supposed to be a Christmas baby. She was born on Thanksgiving. She was born a month early.
Okay.
I was out. We had a storm. We had a snowstorm 2009 in November of Thanksgiving, and I had to get back to work. I went. I cut the umbilical cord. I held my daughter. I saw her delivered, through a C-section and everything, But after my daughter was born and I held her, I went back to work.
Mm.
I didn't even spend the first night of my daughter's life with her and her mother. I was working, and that whole night messed with my head, but I knew what I was doing was being a provider. I knew what I was doing. I was setting up something I had in my head. I'm like, this is that generational wealth they talk about. This is something, that she'll have an option. I don't expect her to take it on, but if she doesn't want to take it on, she can take it and she can sell it, and then she can have a nest egg, but
She
I'm
has
going
the
to make
option.
sure that I show her what, what hard work is about, and that mind state worked for me. But in this generation and this
It
upbringing,
doesn't work.
it doesn't work
For
because now
it doesn't.
I'm neglecting. Now I neglected. Now I neglected my, you know, now I neglected,
Right.
my family,
And
you know,
and
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 it's
to
like,
that, it's
really?
like
That's
people, the this new generation, they are
we have to decide
acclimating
where we
to
want.
find.
Thousand pardons, thousand pardons. I got to get this out before I forget it. We have to decide, I think, where we really want to see the future go to. How much of the past do we still want to embrace in the
Exist.
future, and
Yeah.
how much of the past do we want changed, into, what, is acceptable today? Because there's, like I said earlier in the, in this show, um you know, I have my personal issues, with the trans, side of things, but I'm open to hearing opinions and being educated. Though I am a hardhead, so you have to come with some real
Right.
solid argument, but at the same time, it's like where my dad lives, they have in their school system, and this is still Milwaukee County. It's a suburb area of Milwaukee County, but they had human-sized litter boxes in the classroom for kids that identified as cats and dogs, so they could pee in the classroom in this litter
What?
box. Real talk.
That's
Real
another
talk.
topic for another discussion, man.
Right. But it's like when I heard that, me having the strong opinions that I do actually still made me feel bad for the LGBTQ community, because it was like, okay, people done took it too far. Now they done set y'all back even more because y'all were making ground. Y'all were moving forward. You were getting the mainstream to accept all these, different
Ideologies.
pronouns and stuff of that nature, and all these
Well,
differences in
that's what
cultures.
we're here for, though, bro. That's what we're here
Right.
for. We're here to um not
But the thing
necessarily
is,
bash, but
when when is it
combat
too
the idea,
much? When
combat
it
the
that's the question. When
ideologies.
is it too much? When is it too far? When you start having Muslims and Catholics starting to understand each other and agree with each other, that's telling you something.
Well, I mean, there has to be a level of understanding. But like I said, that's a topic for another discussion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That we could
So
go
so
into.
what the thing is we are here to generate.
I'm going out the side of the camera, but I'm right here. I'm in ear.
It's all
I'm in
good.
ear.
We're
I just
getting
gotta.
ready to end this thing, man.
I gotta check on the dogs.
So at the end of the day, we're here to promote and pronounce the longevity of life. You know, the scriptures tell us that I have come to give life and life more abundantly.
Yes,
And
sir.
through these poets, they've given us an opportunity to not only dive off into their life, not only dive off into their artistry, but also dive off into their artivism as well. So with this platform, we've came and we've come to give life and life more abundantly with this podcast. This episode was brought to you by our very own Common Ground with the Uncommon Report podcast, episode 28, Food for Thought. So these are things that we're going to leave you with so that you can think about them, because if you don't know, they may be going on right into your own community. I greatly appreciate each and everybody that has actually came on board and came into our existence. Shouts out to everybody. Salute to you all. But we are getting ready to sign this thing out. I appreciate y'all. Hey, this has been your boy, Kevin Mullins, with Common Ground. We're growing up one mic at a time.